Welcome back, everyone. It's John, Wade Boggs fan. This is a contest response video for Rick Vintage Oddball Cards. He is celebrating 1,000 subscribers. Rick, congratulations. Love your channel, love your content. You have an amazing sports card collection, well deserved. If you've been living under a rock for the last, I believe it's year and a half that Rick has been putting out content, you definitely need to check out his channel. I will put a link to his channel in the description of this video. Definitely go check his channel out. So Rick's contest is that he wants us to show off some cards of players who we hate, despise, dislike, whatever adjective you want to use, that we have cards in our collection. So the choice was, at least of the team, and I have some players on that team that I especially are going to point out, but the choice of team is fairly easy for me. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you know I'm a Red Sox fan, but I'm also a New York Mets fan. And I would have to say that in terms of passion for the competition in the league, let's put it that way, my hatred extends to the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, I have relatives on my father's side of the family that live down near Philly, and as long as I've been a Mets fan since the early 80s, it's been a back and forth, friendly, family, but a heated battle back and forth between the Mets and Phillies and so on. But for the longest time, as long as I can remember, I have absolutely despised the Phillies. I don't know why particularly. I just can't stand the Phillies. I don't know what it is. The Mets have not had some great teams. As you all, if you follow baseball, you know the Mets have not had some great teams. But I always consider it a successful season, even if they finish just one game above the Phillies. I don't care if the Mets have a losing record. As long as they have one more win than those Phillies, I consider it personally a good season because they played better than the Phillies. So, with that said, I have I think four players that I'm going to show off that I'll explain why, that I just don't care for. Hate's a strong word. I mean, again, these are ball players. They're all talented. They're all good and all that stuff. But just mainly because they played for the Phillies. I mean, let's face it. They were Phillies, and so I just have an inherent dislike, strong dislike for them. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show off some cards of Philadelphia Phillies players that I dislike. Okay, the first player that I'm going to talk about has nothing to do with the whole Mets-Phillies thing, but has to do with Wade Boggs. And the card I'm going to show off, undoubtedly great player, Hall of Famer, all right, but it is Michael Jack Schmidt. Now, we all know Schmidt had over 500 home runs, 3-time MVP, had around 1,600 RBIs. I get it. Good player, good offensive player, good defense with those gold gloves, no doubt about it. But what I don't like about Schmidt, and again, it's no fault of Schmidt himself, okay? But whenever there's a discussion and ranking of the greatest third baseman of all time, invariably Schmidt gets ranked higher on the list than Boggs does. And so I wanted to point out some other stats that, I don't know, sort of go more for Boggs against Schmidt, and just the fact that Schmidt hit, those home runs and MVP, and just, I don't know. But just hear me out. All right. So both Schmidt and Boggs played 18 seasons. Okay, so that's a good comparison. They played the same number of years. Schmidt batted over 300 only once in his career. Boggs batted under 300 only 3 times in his career, and 2 of those times were during his last 3 seasons. Typically, when players start, you know, their performance is starting to go down. But even then, right, Schmidt had a career batting average of 267. Of Boggs's the 2 times in the last 3 years of his career that he hit under 300, Boggs batted 292 and 280, both above Schmidt's career batting average. Schmidt's on-base percentage, 380. Boggs, 415. Schmidt had 2,234 hits in his career. Boggs had nearly 800 more hits in his career. Schmidt led the league in strikeouts 4 seasons and had nearly 1,900 strikeouts in his career. 1,900. Boggs had a little over 1,100 less. 1,100 less strikeouts in his career. And for all the, the power that Schmidt had, you think when he would come to the plate, he'd be walked intentionally, right? And he did. Schmidt led the league in intentional walks 2 times in his career. Now, I forgot to write down the total number of intentional walks in his career, but he led the league twice. Okay? It makes sense. Boggs never threatened to hit a ball out of the park when the game was close. If he came to bat, Boggs led the league in intentional walks 6 straight seasons in the 80s. When it was a pressure situation, they walked Boggs because they knew he'd probably get a hit and knock in a run. All right? So, to me, in terms of a pure hitter, and Boggs had 2 gold gloves, and he worked his tail off to improve his defense. All right? So he may not have won a whole lot of gold gloves, but he did win 2 in his career. I would say in terms of a pure hitter, yeah, Schmidt had power, no doubt. But I believe Boggs was the better pure hitter. So, I know it's a long explanation, but that's why I just don't like Mike Schmidt. And even though I'm doing a vintage PSA collection, I have a 78 and 79 Schmidt. To date, I don't think I've bought any other Schmidts, and I don't think I'm ever going to complete a player run of Schmidt because I just have no interest. I see a Schmidt card come up, and I'm like, I'm like, it's Schmidt. Anyway, there's the first one. The second one, I don't really have a really good explanation of why. It's just a player that I just dislike. I don't know why. And it is Jimmy Rollins, J-Roll, as his nickname is. I don't know. Again, good player, intense player, loves the game. I understand that. It's just, I don't know. I'm sorry. Just disliked the guy. Just can't explain it. So that's a quick non-description, I guess, of why I hate it. But yeah, Jimmy Rollins, yeah, no. The next one. I disliked him when he played for the Nationals, and I dislike him even more now he's playing for the Phillies. And it's Bryce Harper. I think the guy has a chip on his shoulder the size of Mount Everest. I think in his mind, he's the greatest current baseball player. I just think he's cocky. I think he's overhyped. He's had some good seasons and he's had some terrible seasons. And I never got on the Bryce Harper bandwagon. Like I said, even when he played for the Nationals, and just has nothing to do with the Phillies. But now that he's on the Phillies, just dislike him even more. I just think he's too cocky. I think he, when it came up, I think it was the comparison of, Harper and Trout, Harper and Trout. Yeah, Trout is leagues ahead in terms of a player, personality, how he plays the game. Trout is head and shoulders above Harper, and so that's why I just dislike Harper. Now the last one, I have a little bit more of a personal hatred for, and that is Chase Utley. Just can't stand the guy. Tough competitor. You want to this, whatever. Yeah, you can. For those of the fans of Chase Utley, okay, call it what you will. But all I need to say is 2015 National League Championship Series and his slide into second base. It was just dirty, just flat out dirty. Pretty much ended Miguel Tejada's baseball career when he broke his leg. He was just never the same player. I think some defenders were like, well, up until that point back in the day, that's how you did. You slid hard into second to break up a double play. Yeah, but it was because of his play that the following year, I believe they made some rules changes to not allow the crap that he pulled at second base against the Mets. I'm just glad the Mets won the series against the Dodgers and made it to the World Series, even though they lost to the Royals. So I cannot stand. I know I started off this video by saying hate's a strong word, and I don't like to hate people. Chase Utley is the closest, all right, in terms of who I despise. I just can't stand him. Just can't stand him. And again, he did it when he was with the Dodgers, but he played most of his career with the Phillies and just can't stand it. And finally, it's not a card, but living in central Pennsylvania, again, I would get some Mets games on the TV, but mainly if I wanted to watch baseball, it was pretty much the Phillies. If I wanted to watch the Phillies, and my grandfather would occasionally have the Phillies on, or my dad, he didn't watch a whole lot of sports, but occasionally we'd have the Phillies game on. And I'm sorry, but I know there's huge fans, especially in Philadelphia area, and again, anyone from Philadelphia, this is just my personal opinion. I don't want to start any war with any Phillies fans or whatever like that. But Harry Kalas, I'm sorry, I just could not stand him as an announcer, and especially when there was a home run. And I have a video clip here that I'm going to play. Just, it is almost like fingernails on a chalkboard. Here you go.
A long drive. This ball is out of here.
Just can't. I just could never stand Harry Kalas as an announcer. Anyway, that's all I have. Rick, very interesting video contest contest here for your 1,000 subscribers. Again, congratulations. Good luck to all the contestants in your contest. Keep up the great work, Rick. Again, love your videos. Keep it up. Congratulations. That's all I have for you guys. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.